When Theresa May secured an 11th-hour deal on the first phase of the negotiations with the EU, there was a promise of no hard border on the island of Ireland, but no final decision on how to achieve that. Now the Foreign Secretary has weighed in with his own solutions. In a leaked letter to the Prime Minister, he appears to signal that the government's approach to the border question could shift. He writes it's wrong to see the task as maintaining no border. The government's task will be to stop this border becoming significantly harder, and goes on to suggest that even if a hard border is reintroduced, we'd expect to see 95% of goods pass without checks.
The Foreign Secretary is telling the public in the House of Commons and elsewhere that it's unthinkable that we could have a hard border on the island of Ireland. But in private, he's telling the Prime Minister not to worry about it and that it isn't the British government's job to guarantee that there's no hard border. I think that just looks very untrustworthy and frankly deeply reckless with the peace and prosperity of Northern Ireland.
It's not even Mr Johnson's only controversial foray into the Irish issue in the space of 12 hours. This morning he compared the border to crossing between two London boroughs.
There's no border between Camden and Westminster, but when I was Mayor of London, we anaesthetically and invisibly took hundreds of millions of pounds from the accounts of people travelling between those two boroughs without any need for border checks, whatever.
Tomorrow the EU will publish its draft legal text of the withdrawal agreement, expected to set out arrangements for Northern Ireland to keep the same customs regulations as the EU if no other options are found. Our responsibility, Mr Barnier said, is to put in the withdrawal agreement practical solutions to honour our commitments to the Good Friday Agreement. We cannot leave the Irish question pending. Boris Johnson's spokesperson said tonight that this paper was designed to outline how a highly facilitated border would work and help to make a successful Brexit. The letter points out there is a border now, and the task we face is stopping this becoming significantly harder.
What we're seeing here is a duplicitous approach and a strategy around Brexit that sees the people of Ireland, our interests and our well-being, as collateral damage in the Brexit process.
But in this key week for Brexit, the Foreign Secretary's interventions today will have stretched trust in the British government, both in Northern Ireland and in Europe, pretty thin. Romilly Weeks, News at 10.